Yeah. All praises. I say all praises to a higher, I found the truth now. I was all in the world sinning and running wild. Then I opened up my Bible and then my heart smiled. Since it's only begotten the Son to save my soul now. Yeshua saved me. He saved me. Keep the law and statute commandments on the dead. And when the devil's on your back, don't let it phase me. Cause the bloody sacrifice, it really saved me. Yeah. All praise to the Most High. Ooh, 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 yeah. All praise to the Most High. Ooh, 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 yeah.
Elder and brother Shikam Ya'ala, and the lesson we're bringing today, destined for greatness, yet subject to sin. Destined for greatness, yet subject to sin. You know, kind of echoes my thoughts as we finish up reading from the law. You know, understanding our greatness, but we have to understand what we're subject to and some of our mishaps and places we fall throughout history, and use those things to strengthen us as we continue forward, right? But let's go ahead and get straight into our lesson here. Destined for greatness, yet subject to sin. There was once a time where as a people we taught the world through example what it meant to be righteous as a nation. Man, we a bit of a cry from that as a nation right now. But there was a time. As in the beginning, sin entered in, and ultimately we lost our way. But don't let me go without saying that that time will return. Okay, that was a time past. As we build and grow to that nation and return to righteousness and to our heritage and to the Most High, we will be that teacher by example to the nations again. Let us examine the scriptures to better understand the journey we must go through in order to become that perfect vessel that the Most High can use one day and direct the earth in righteousness again, as we're on that path to lead the earth, for that matter, and the nations to righteousness. We'll start at the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 27. Genesis chapter 1, starting at the 27th verse.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. So the Most High created man in his own image. In the image of the Most High created he him. Male and female created he them. Mm-hmm. And the Most High blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
All right. Like Yeshua, our job was to represent the Most High in righteousness as we look and be fruitful and multiply and have dominion over things. We were to be that righteous example. We were given dominion over the whole earth in order to place it in balance under the laws of the Father. That's why he came to us, to give us the laws of creation, him being the creator of all things, giving us the keys to this earth and his creation. Before we could come of full age and understanding, we fell through temptation and sin by rebelling against the Father, right? Which is what puts us in our state and this earth, us as a nation in this earth is entirety in the state that we're in today. Let's get 2nd Esdras. We're going to 2nd Esdras chapter 3, verse 19. Destined for greatness, but subject to sin. 2nd Esdras chapter 3, verse 19.
And the Apocrypha.
In the Apocryphas. Yeah. All right.
2nd Esdras chapter 3, verse 19. And thy glory went through 4 gates, of fire, and of earthquake, and of wind, and of cold, that thou mightest give the law unto the seed of Jacob, and diligence unto the generation of Israel.
You see that? Giving the law to the seed of Jacob, to be that of example, right? Go ahead.
And yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart, that thy law might bring forth fruit in them.
Just like we had just read and saw, you know, even though the Most High was dealing with Moses on the mount and speaking directly to him and giving him the law, at the same time, the same people he's bringing this law to are down, you know, rebelling against their God, and they rebelling against the Most High, right? So it talks about, it says here in verse 20, and yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart, that thy law might bring forth fruit in them. It's talking about how with the law, you know, how can there be fruit or reward without a choice? So with this law, we are given, you know, we still have to fight and and deal with our flesh and sin, right? Go ahead.
For the first Adam, bearing a wicked heart, transgressed and was overcome, and so be all they that are born of him. Thus infirmity was made permanent, and the law also in the heart of the people with the malignity of the root.
Thus infirmity was made permanent. That battle with the flesh and spirit, right? Go ahead.
And the law also in the heart of the people with the malignity of the root, so that the good departed away and the evil abode still. So the times passed away, and the years were brought to an end. Then did thou raise thee up a servant called David, whom thou commandest to build a city unto thy name, and to offer incense and oblations unto thee therein. When this was done many years, then they that inhabited the city forsook thee, and in all things did even as Adam and all his generations had done, for they also had a wicked heart. And so thou gavest thy city over into the hands of thine enemies.
Yes, and you see that those two go hand in hand. Our wickedness, our failure to deal with obedience to the Most High and the laws and statutes equates to us being underneath or placed into the hands of our enemies. The fall of Adam, and you see it hinges on something that can be looked at as so simple, something that we could have, you know, like, man, this could have just easily been avoided. But we go right back to where we were reading in Exodus chapter 32, where, you know, at the quickest, the drop of a hat, the shortest of notice, we're so quick and easy to just turn and go against our power. The thing that holds us to the esteem that we are, the thing that allows us to call ourselves royalty, if you will, and the chosen people. And I'm going to tell you, we the only people on this earth that would deal this way. And that's why I say, as we read our history, okay, yeah, it's fine and good and dandy to have a sense of pride of who we are, but we need to understand our shortcomings and where we fall, because those are the things that have us in this situation that we deal with from day to day right now. Like, that's the reason we stuck where we at, how we are right now, and have to answer to and deal with and be concerned with our safety and well-being and freedom from day to day, because we can't understand and learn how to deal with obedience. We won't follow our power. We won't follow our Father. You know, and it's such a, you know, and that's why I say look at it and examine it, because you can't tell me we not these people. Who else on this earth is this way? Other people are seeking and trying to stay clean and trying to, and following whatever, the rituals and situations and readings and writings that they can to try to stay claim to who we are. We are the only ones who, at the drop of the hat, ready to backbite our own. Our own. Look at, when we were reading in Exodus, they, like I said, they turned against the Most High, but they turned right on their own brother, on Moses. Like, man, where is he at? Nah, forget that. And it goes on and on throughout Scripture. Every time we get an opportunity, we're ready to, what he doing it? Get him out of here. I should be there. He did that wrong. What's she doing? Killing and hurting and harming and backbiting one another. That's why I say we have to see this and see ourselves. Because if we don't check history, we're destined to repeat it, as we are doing now as a people. Anyone else can see that the cards are stacked against them and say, hey, we need to come together. We the only ones out here being destroyed by everybody, including ourselves. And then that ain't enough. We got to pile on top of ourselves and destroy ourselves within it. We have to learn what it means to be a nation. How are we going to teach the world and nations how to be a nation? We come into this truth and still can't understand how to come together. We collect a piece of knowledge just so we can then fight each other. Man, it's sickening. We return back to who we are just to find another level to fight. The fall of Adam brought forth sin within our bodies to the point it was like a law in itself. The law of sin, and that being within our being, a battle that we deal with. Even though Adam sinned, we have been even more rebellious than Adam ever was. There were many who arose to help our people, like David, to come back to the ways of the Father. But eventually, much like today, we forsake his ways for sin. We're going to go to the book of Jasher. So for those who have it with them, follow us there. If you don't, then of course we'll read aloud for you. We're going to the book of Jasher, chapter 3, and we'll start reading at the first verse. We have to stop being weapons against ourselves. Look at something bigger than just yourself and start thinking in terms of a nation, a family. Not look to tear down so that you can be edified. Let's get this in Jasher. The book of Jasher, chapter 3, starting at the first verse.
And Enoch lived 65 years after he begat Methuselah. And Enoch walked with the Most High after having begot Methuselah, and he served the Most High and despised the evil ways of men.
Mm-hmm.
And the soul of Enoch was wrapped up in the instruction of the Most High, in knowledge and in understanding. And he wisely retired from the...
wrapped up in the instructions. Enoch was wrapped up in the instructions and following out the instructions. It's not enough just to oratate or quote we have to walk out and deal with the instructions and live these things. That's the part that is so often missed by us. We want to gravitate to the Hebrew this. These things are okay. They're good. But it's all for nothing if you don't apply and just deal with the simplicity of obedience to the law. That part can't be left out and forgotten and tossed to the side. Go ahead.
In knowledge and in understanding. And he wisely retired from the sons of men and secreted himself from them for many days. And it was at the expiration of many years, while he was serving the Most High and praying before him in his house, that an angel of the Most High called to him from heaven. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Rise, go forth from thy house and from the place where thou dost hide thyself, and appear to the sons of men, in order that thou mayest teach them the way in which they should go, and the work which they must accomplish to enter into the ways of the Most High.
He said, go and teach. While the world was becoming worse, to stay pure, Enoch spent his time separated from the worldly people. He was focused on understanding the ways of the Most High. Enoch is an example of what we really should begin to do in our own lives. And you know, we find ourselves doing just the opposite. Busybodies. Gotta be everywhere for everything that go on. Gotta chime in to everything. Gotta have an opinion and be around and stir up. Versus just sitting still and letting the Most High deal with you. Our interactions with the world should primarily be for the edification of the people, and of course, whatever we must do to sustain ourselves in righteousness. We're going to stay right there in Jasher, the 3rd chapter, and we'll jump down to the 17th verse.
Verse 17.
You know, that's why the scripture speaks against being a busybody. That's talking about always having something to do and somewhere to be and something to talk about and something to share opinion on and something to share about what you heard and what you seen and what somebody else is doing, how this ain't right, how my opinion is this. Stirring up mess. This is us as a nation of people. That's all culminates and comes together and creates this division. Being so busy. For what? Go ahead.
Verse 17. And it was in the year of Adam's death, which was the 243rd year of...
We can't even rest. We can't sit still. I'm just thinking of us in the wilderness. Man, get up. Make us a god. This is what they telling Aaron. Like, y'all can't sit still? You don't see fire raining on this mount right here? We can't sit still. I'm sure you see the scripture say they murmuring. They all talking. Why are we out here? What happened? Oh, man, he shouldn't have never. He did. Man, did you see when that was wrong? Just on and on. Hey, man, make us a god. Take my shoes and make, what kind of sense does that make? That's us. Take what I purchased and I'm Lord of and give me a God. Busy. Sit down. Go ahead. Start from the top.
Verse 17. And it was in the year of Adam's death, which was the 243rd year of the reign of Enoch. And that time Enoch resolved to separate himself from the sons of men and to secret himself as at first in order to serve the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
And Enoch did so, but did not entirely secrete himself from them, but kept away from the sons of men 3 days, and then went to them for 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
And he did in this manner for many years, and he afterwards concealed himself for 6 days, and appeared to his people 1 day in 7, and after that once in a month, and then once in a year, until all the kings, princes, and sons of men sought for him, and desired again to see the face of Enoch and to hear his word. but they could not, as all the sons of men were greatly afraid of Enoch, and they feared to approach him on account of the godlike awe that was seated upon his countenance. Therefore no man could look at him, fearing he might be punished and die.
Yeah, they didn't feel comfortable in how they were moving around. And they see this man, you know, with the Most High just falling off of him. And that's what brought them that fear. The more you desire the things from above, the more your spirit is strengthened. Enoch had the diligence and the love for the Father to accomplish things far beyond this world and its physical limitations as we understand them today. The question is, what do we love above the Most High that keeps us from our own spiritual growth? What do we love that we are putting above the Most High? Let's get 1 John 2 and 15. What do we covet and place above the Most High? And I'm going to tell you, especially nowadays, most of the time, it's ourselves. So common. That's what causes division, breakdown. People want, moving outside of the Most High. And I talk about it a lot. They cultivated this whole, sensation of self-praise. Self-praise. Let's get that, and let's go on and read this in 1 John 2 and 15. Yeah, talking about this world. Go ahead, brother.
1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
What is this world promoting to the nth degree? Who's the next superstar? I know I'm repeating myself, but that's the overwhelming sensation in this earth today. It's a constant superstar show coming up. Everybody got a TV show. Everybody, all these social media where you can just promote ourselves. Where's the humility? Where's the compassion and love for others? Like you said, to seek the things of the Most High is what strengthens our spirit. Right? Go ahead.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life.
The pride of life.
Is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever.
All those things pass away. The Most High abideth forever. The three things that John mentioned in verse 16 are the primary things all men and women fall in subjection to in this world. We must transcend these things as Enoch did if we hope to see the kingdom. Our often half-hearted efforts will not get us in. It's our understanding of our ongoing shortcomings that cast doubt and hinder our faith. This is Satan's primary leverage on us in order to keep us subject to the rules of this physical realm. We must put away our old sinful life to be on a level like our great forefathers and foremothers. Let's get the book of Exodus. We'll start at the 24th chapter and the 12th verse. Exodus 24 and 12. That's all right. Exodus 24 and 12.
Exodus chapter 24, verse 12. And the Most High said unto Moses, Come up to me into the mount, and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone, and the law, and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua, and Moses went up into the mount of the Most High. And he said unto the elders, Tarry ye here for us, until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them. And Moses went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount. And the glory of the Most High abode upon Mount Sinai. And the cloud covered it 6 days. And the 7th day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud.
Right. So as he goes up to the mount, and I'm sure the people could see, the mount is covered with a cloud. Right? Go ahead.
And the sight of the glory of the Most High was like devouring fire on top of the mount in the eyes of the children of Israel.
Y'all see this? This is what another part of what they experience. And they see Moses up here at the mount with the Most High. Clouds and fire raining down. But then at a moment's notice, they're ready to put together their own altar and create their own God. Right? Go ahead.
And Moses went into the midst of the cloud, and gat him up into the mount. And Moses was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights.
All right. See, there was a serious meeting between the spiritual realm and the physical realm that we were able to witness from afar. The problem is, if we hope to be close to Yeshua like Moses, we must separate ourselves from this wicked world spiritually first. The alternative is we will be amongst the fearful like our forefathers who were in complete fear when Yeshua came down. Let's get 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. 2 Corinthians 10. We'll start reading at the 3rd verse. 2 Corinthians 10 and 3.
2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds.
So we walk in the flesh. Many times warfare presents itself in a physical manner. The things that we deal with, the problems that we have, the issues that come our way. But you see it says here, we do not war after the flesh. Even though these things may materialize carnally or physically to where they're present and you see them and deal with them, understand it's never a warfare of flesh. When you're looking to deal with our issues and concerns, whatever they may be, finance, family, relationships, friends, you name it, it's spiritual every time. That's how we go about it in warfare. Right? Go ahead.
Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Yeshua, and having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled.
You see that? Being ready to revenge your disobedience. When we're dealing with carnal, fleshly battles and situations, that's when it's time to tighten up your bootstraps and go to the Father. Faith is dead without works. It's not for us to just sit on and do nothing, but we have to know and understand that the battle is fought and won spiritually. We can't leave the Most High out of the equation. We have to go to him. Right. This is a process that every professed follower of the Most High and Yeshua must go through. Once you have left off from sin and learn to control your thoughts by following the Father's will under Yeshua, you will then be ready to truly help edify others. This process of obedience also prepares your spirit for battles in the unseen realm. That's what we call on in these battles. That's why it says to revenge all disobedience. It's like that's your battle. to gain your revenge is to that disobedience. Right? Let's get Exodus 34 is where we're going. We're going to start reading at the 27th verse. Exodus 34 and 27. We have to equip ourselves this way and put our minds in that mind frame. That's our strength. Our strength is in the Most High. Our strength is spiritual. Our strength is with each other. Not in trying to bolster up our strength in ourselves. Because then that puts us in that mind frame of handling things on our own, minus the Most High. And also it lessens the the importance of us as a people, as a nation, as a family, and from there on. It's not about you, me, individuals. It's about a collective, us in obedience to the Most High. That's our strength. So what's, any other nation can they might bicker and here and there, but when they see that they're being attacked from without, oh, it ain't no question. It's automatic. It's automatic. They automatically banding together. It ain't said. It goes without being said. They don't have to say, oh, he's not one of us. This is how we're gonna. No, it's understood. They making moves without even speaking. It's automatic. Not us. We outnumbered, outgunned, everything, and we still ready to tear each other because we don't understand this dynamic. Let's get it. Exodus 34, 27.
Exodus chapter 34, verse 27. And the Most High said unto Moses, Write thou these words, for after the tenor of these words I have made a covenant with thee and with Israel. And he was there with the Most High 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water, and he wrote upon the tables the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
And it came to pass when Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tables of testimony in Moses' hand, when he came down from the mount, that Moses wist not that the skin of his face shone while he talked with him. And when Aaron and all the children of Israel saw Moses, behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come nigh him.
His face shone, saying like they could see the glory of the Most High shining up off of his face. Right? Go ahead.
And Moses called unto them, and Aaron and all the rulers of the congregation returned unto him, and Moses talked with them. And afterward all the children of Israel came nigh, and he gave them in commandment all that the Most High had spoken with him in Mount Sinai. Until Moses had done speaking with them, he put a veil on his face.
Man, I find it hard. I can't imagine being present in this time and fixing my mind to somehow go against the Most High. But sure enough, our people found a way. Go ahead.
But when Moses went in before the Most High to speak with him, he took the veil off until he came out. And he came out and spake unto the children of Israel that which he was commanded. And the children of Israel saw the face of Moses, that the skin of Moses' face shone. And Moses put the veil upon his face again until he went in to speak with him.
When Moses returned from the mount for the second time, the people were afraid because of the glory which was shining from his face. Their own sinful acts increased their fear, being they had worshipped another god just prior to Moses leaving for the mount. This is another example of the same process as Enoch through Moses. By separating himself from the people and their sometime carnal ways, he was able to deal with the incorruptible realm in order to bring truth to those that were still subject to sin. Separating himself. We don't have to be a part of everything every time. We don't have to be busy. Separate ourselves, you know, so we can deal with that relationship with the Most High. Let's get 2nd Esdras chapter 1. We'll start reading at the 12th verse. I'm going to tell you, I mean, there's only so much good, constant gathering and coming together with groups can bring. It's a matter of time before it's, you know, discord, division, babbling, backbiting, tale-telling, bringing down of others. You know, and many times we're missing things that could be being addressed and managed and dealt with. Right? Let's get it. 2nd Esdras 1 and 12.
2nd Esdras chapter 1 verse 12. Speak thou therefore unto them, saying, Thus saith the Most High, I led you through the sea, and in the beginning gave you a large and safe passage. I gave you Moses for a leader, and Aaron for a priest. Mm-hmm. I gave you light and a pillar of fire, and great wonders have I done among you. Mm-hmm. Yet have ye forgotten me, saith the Most High. Thus saith the Almighty, the quails were as a token to you. I gave you tents for your safeguard. Nevertheless ye murmured there, and triumph not in my name for the destruction of your enemies. But ever to this day do ye yet murmur.
Do ye yet murmur. These stiff-necked people, right? Go ahead.
Where are the benefits that I have done for you? When ye were hungry and thirsty in the wilderness, did ye not cry unto me, saying, Why hast thou brought us into the wilderness to kill us? It had been better for us to have served the Egyptians than to die in this wilderness. Then had I pity upon your mournings, and gave you manna to eat, so ye did eat angels' bread.
What more do you want? I bring you out of slavery, and you curse that. You say, I'd rather be dealing with the hard bondage and labor of the Egyptians and be under their foot. I fed you angels' bread. The Father gave us far more than we ever deserved as a rebellious people. Even until this day, with thousands of signs and wonders that the kingdom will soon come, we are rebellious and murmur against him and those that speak of him, so that you will better know him. Yeah, those that speak of him, so that we'll better know him. If we tasted the bread of heaven and murmured, how much more do we murmur in the physical presence of the bread of life? We have a lot to learn as a people. Murmured after being fed from the heavens. And that's why I wanted to read that in the law and show and reflect on us. Y'all know this is us. We can read of the greatness, the kingdom to come, all the good stuff, the 12 pillars, so forth and so on. How we'll be, it'll be our turn, everything else. Hey, we have to remember what has brought us and put us into this place. And keep those things in mind for today so that we don't repeat the same. Let's get 2nd Esdras chapter 2. We're right in 2nd Esdras. Stay there. We're going to the 2nd chapter, and we'll start reading at the 35th verse.
2nd Esdras chapter 2 verse 35. Be ready to the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore. Flee the shadow of this world. Receive the joyfulness of your glory. I testify my Savior openly. O receive the gift that is given you, and be glad, giving thanks unto him that hath led you to the heavenly kingdom. Arise up and stand. Behold, the number of those that be sealed in the feast of the Most High, which are departed from the shadow of the world, and have received glorious garments of the Lord. Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Most High. The number of thy children whom thou longed for is fulfilled. Beseech thee the power of the Most High, that thy people which have been called from the beginning may be hallowed.
This world is actually a shadow of the real world to come. Adam and a select few saw the real world, and we merely get glimpses of the heavenly. Those that flee the darkness that this wicked world contains and begin to focus on the spiritual things will be rewarded. With Yeshua comes light, and darkness will eventually be rooted out. Let's get the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33. We'll start at the 30th verse. Ezekiel 33, verse 30. All right.
Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 30. Also, thou son of man, the children of thy people still are talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, every one to his brother, saying, Come, I pray you, and hear what is the word that cometh from the Most High. And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness.
But they will not do them. It said, and they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouths they show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness. Their heart goes after the things of themselves. This is the part where we have to learn that it's more than hearing, presenting a certain way. Like it said, they mouth show much love. We'll go on and above and beyond. But what about when nobody's watching? And I want everybody to take this personally. What about when you just at home and ain't nobody there? What about when you're around a bunch of people who don't know what you stand for, and you're not around your church family? And I'm talking about, and see, this is the thing, it's not about our mouth showing a lot of love and being extravagant and being able to say a bunch or try to present a bunch or be a big Hebrew outwardly. I'm talking about the smallest of decision making. How you feel about people, correcting your inner thoughts, having compassion and patience and love and humility, trying to be empathetic to others, see things through someone else's eyes, so that you can in turn react in a way that you just want to be as edifying to somebody as you can. Those are the things that go overlooked. We want to go show something above and beyond how we just got dropped a piece of knowledge that nobody could ever unlock before you. That's the things we worried about. They show much love with their mouth, but ain't nobody doing it. And know, because this understanding, as we come into this truth, is levels. And it comes a time where we have to get off the ground floor.
Yes, sir.
We can't walk around as outward Hebrews for the rest of our life. We have to start addressing and dealing with accountability, period, and obedience. And our inward parts just, being called to deal with, like we read concerning Enoch and Moses, to where we want what the Most High had for us. That's it. Go ahead. Where are you at? 32?
Yep, verse 32.
But their heart go after their covetousness. Go ahead.
And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice, and can play well on an instrument, for they hear thy words, but they do them not.
They do them not. That's what puts us, this is us time and time again throughout the scriptures up into the present day, in and out of the truth. We have to learn to deal with a level of self-reflection, self-refinement, self-judgment, to save ourselves the judgment later. Go ahead.
And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come.
It will come.
Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them.
If we claim we follow the truth, then the truth must live in us and guide our lives. Our people have always gone to church, but how many leave church and still live in righteousness when nobody from church is around? We've always been in church. We've always been in church. And what we can't allow what to happen is to revert right back to our days of times past, to where church just becomes a routine of something we do. It's just the same old tradition. It's just we can fall into that same rut as a Hebrew. And instead of dealing with ourselves, that's what it comes down to. Preparing ourselves to be acceptable to the Most High. The words in the Bible and the strong words of a person the Most High chose to deliver them to you are not there for entertainment. Man, and these words ring so clear. Everything becomes about that, it's all entertainment. We more worried about what everybody think. Even with, whether it's, videos, everything, what we put up. Don't be distracted. I'm telling you. I don't care who got how many videos and what they doing in them. Show me that scripture. We have to deal with the simplicity of this book and obedience to it, and not get caught up in the galore and entertainment value and purposes and be tricked. Because we can come into this understanding and still be tricked right out the kingdom. If you believe, then show through your life that you believe. Righteousness is a 7 days a week thing. Let's get Revelations chapter 12. If the Most High is pleased with me, I could care less what anybody else thinks. That's the approval I'm seeking. Revelations 12 and 10.
Revelations chapter 12, verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Savior. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before the Most High. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
The devil looks to eliminate the seed of the righteous from this world, because he's looking to escape judgment himself. We must learn to not enjoy the evil things of this present life, because that is how the adversary looks to bring about our downfall. All these different media outlets that we live our lives through is in part were Satan's way of aggressively destroying the righteous in a shorter period of time through sin, and even through distraction from what really is important to focus on. All these different media outlets. Man, I'm telling you, it's enough to choke you out. It's enough to just totally distract you from where our focus should be. They are there to destroy the people one way or another. We must be on our guard, as now you can bring sin into your home without ever having to leave to find it. And that goes without mentioning, of course, from the television and the programming and so forth, but the social media. I mean, man, it's almost replaced television. Because everybody has their own TV show. I mean, it really equates to that. Let's get 1 Peter 5:5. The more I see, and I've started to see from just different conversations just how important these things are to people. Like how wrapped up and involved and at the helm, these things are at the forefront of people's lives. What their Instagram is doing, what their Snapchat, Twitters, and all these things. Idolizing ourselves. First Peter 5:5. Man, it just sounds. I think about it. I'm just sitting here running through my mind what has happened, what you actually physically do to do this. The whole process of, let me put together this and tell this is just crazy. Let me make sure everybody see this outfit. Let me tell them where I went. Let me tell everybody, look at me, look at what I'm wearing, look what I know. Because I'm gonna tell you, it even infiltrates us in the truth, to where everybody now want to show their knowledge and look what I just did and everything else on all these media platforms. 1 Peter 5:5.
First Peter chapter 5, verse 5. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility.
Can y'all imagine Christ on Snapchat, Twitter? Read that again. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
From the top.
Yeah.
Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another.
Subject one to another. Read that next part.
And be clothed with humility.
With humility. Be subject one to another. Clothed with humility. Go ahead.
For the Most High resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble.
Mm-hmm.
Humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of Ahiah, that he may exalt you in due time.
Mm-hmm.
Casting all your care.
All that stuff is involved and intertwined with this pride. Most High resisteth the proud. Verse 6, read it.
Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of Ahijah, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
We take that as a people and use it as another way to divide ourselves. We jump on all media forums to talk about how this person didn't break down the scripture right. This ain't what he did that wrong. This man, tell me that ain't us we reading about. Who else do that? Go ahead. We at every turn, we got everything turned against us, and we can't figure out how to work together. And we need to start taking this on a personal level, because us here, there's going to come a time where we may be all we have to pull to. How much sense does it make to destroy yourself? And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be more important to have 5 that understand truly than to have 1,000 that are all splintered. Go ahead, Hawk.
Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. But the power of all grace, who hath called us unto his eternal glory by Yeshua, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, settle you.
You must humble yourself under the Most High's mighty hand, which is Yeshua. Time to live a life of sobriety in every way, understanding the devil awaits his opportunity to take you down. Also, keep in mind that there is always someone in the body with a similar story or one worse than yours. So you are not alone in this struggle. Let's get the book of Deuteronomy. Got just a few more verses here. Deuteronomy chapter 7. We'll start at the 6th verse. Deuteronomy 7 and 6.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Most High thy power. The Most High thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Most High did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more numbered than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Most High loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Most High brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Know therefore that the Most High thy power, he is power, the faithful power, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him, and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repayeth them that hate them to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day, to do them.
To be holy is to be separate from the rest of the world. If you are still looking to engross yourself in the things of the world, you're still missing the message. We were chosen for a task separate from the world, so that the world may heal. The priest and his family lived a separate, righteous life, different from the common man. We are now to be a nation of priests, so nobody is exempt. Even the Gentiles who choose this path must step away from the ways of their fathers. Let's get the book of Exodus chapter 19. Start reading at verse 5.
Exodus chapter 19, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people.
Yes.
For all the earth is mine.
Mm-hmm.
And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
Yes. We will be a peculiar treasure if what? If we obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, the commandments and statutes. Satan has his priests that follow his wickedness, and the Most High is expecting us to choose to be his. If the Satanists can come together and accomplish so many things for their agenda, how much more should we come together in righteousness? Let's get Isaiah chapter 1, verse 1. Isaiah 1 and 1.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 1. The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Most High has spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me.
Mm-hmm.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib.
I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. Verse 3.
The ox knoweth his owner,
Right.
and the ass his master's crib.
Mm-hmm.
But Israel doeth not know, my people doeth not consider.
Mm-hmm. The ox knows, the ass, the donkey, and animals can understand who their master is and their home, but Israel does not consider. Right? Go ahead.
A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers,
Right.
children that are corrupters.
Mm-hmm.
They have forsaken the Most High. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are going away backward.
A sinful nation. Okay? Yeah, we are a chosen nation. We are the apple of the Most High's eye, but we are a stiff-necked, sinful nation. That's important to understand, just to know the importance of to deal righteously versus how our forefathers may have dealt in error. Go ahead. Verse 5.
Why should ye be stricken any more? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment.
We choose to do evil, even though evil has only destroyed us and stricken us with diseases. Even an ox recognizes when his master is giving him commands, and it follows. We have greatness contained within, which has greater promise than the law of sin within us. It's time we hear the Father's voice and walk in the destiny of the righteous, because time is almost up. Let's get this last scripture here. We're going to the book of Romans, chapter 13. Romans 13 and 11. All right.
Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. The night is far spent. The day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light.
Let us put on the armor of light. Go ahead.
Let us walk honestly, as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying. But put ye on the Lord Yeshua Christ, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof.
So let us not walk in drunkenness or wantingness and envying, or make provision for the flesh, but to deal in the spirit, walk in in the fruits of the spirit, and look to strengthen our spirit, and look to seek the things of the Most High in this time, knowing that we are subject to sin. Destined for greatness, right? That was the title of the lesson. Destined for greatness, yet subject to sin. So I hope that understanding of the lesson was brought through clearly. In the name of the Most High, Ahaya Ba'ashem Yeshaya, through the Holy Spirit, Ruach. And something for us to be mindful and keep mindful. We are a great people, and we are destined for a kingdom and greatness. But we must understand the adversary and us being subject to that sin and see it and put it in perspective. So all praise to the Most High, Ahaya.